if the price is really high, it's not likely to convert online through a magical sales funnel. You'll actually need a team that's going to help sell that and wrap that in, which is speaking to credibility, speaking to building relationships.
Welcome to the Business Builder Throwdown.
That's why people call me. They're like, what do I do?
First of all, how are you reading my mind?
Woo! Yes, live conferences are happening again. Isn't that exciting? We are happy to have Brent here, as well as Holly Jean
Thank
Jackson.
You for having me.
Throwing down the gloves, and Matt Rouse. Brett, let's have you introduce yourself and your company, Key HR, the key to your success, and what's going on with the conference.
Thank you, Scott. We are here streaming to you live from the Shingle Creek, or the Rosen Shingle Creek Resort. This is our annual Florida Association of Insurance Agents that we have every single year. And thank you for having me here, Holly and Matt, everybody, and Scott.
Hey,
lovely to be here. And how lucky am I to be at a conference like this and be on the Thursday Business Builder Throwdown.
Throwdown, yeah, here after the Throwdown. Hey, can you, Brett, can you give us the quick overview? What is a P.E.O. and who are your customers?
Yes, sir. P.E.O. is an acronym for Professional Employer Organization. Back in the late 70s, some senators got together and decided to create what they called an employee leasing company. And basically what it was an opportunity to outsource the non-revenue producing items, HR, risk management, which is French for workers' comp, and benefits and payroll. Those are the four lead dogs on our sled, if you will: HR, risk management, benefits, and payroll. And what we do, Matt, is Scott, we tell everybody, look, you didn't go into business to keep the government happy. We did. I don't care if you're a two-man concrete company or if you're 500 lawyers. The requirements, the compliance, and all the things you have to do when it comes to payroll, ERISA, Title VII, 401k, workers' comp insurance, HR compliance, all these things that make you no money, but as you all know, being the pros that you are, can certainly bring a lot of problems, and it costs you your time and energy, and you're not concentrating on running your business. You're doing other things, as we refer to the non-revenue producing items that a business owner has. And the P.E.O. says, hey, concentrate on what you do, drive revenue, do what you do best, which is run your business, and allow us to do what we do best, and handle those items, which I mentioned to you just before.
I'm arguing for Salesforce, not the technology, although I love Salesforce, the technology, but we're talking about Salesforce, the people, investing in staff for scalability and not just your technology stack. And we know in the sales industry, it's human to human. It's not B2B or, individual to individual. So it's so important to invest in scaling your team, making sure your employee experience is spot on. And the reason I'm going on the side of Salesforce is because I believe that one of the best ways to scale your business is through your Salesforce. Now, I work with so many clients, and just like Brett was mentioning, all of those factors of human resources, all of those little pieces, payroll, are so difficult to set up. So I am a huge advocate of outsourcing those bits so that you can actually work on the important parts of your business, generating revenue, making sure your customers and clients are extremely happy. And in a previous episode, we talked about customer retention. So today, I'm a huge advocate of scaling your team to scale your business today.
All right, Salesforce, building
Excellent.
Your team, building those reps, getting out into the field, connecting with customers. And with that, Matt, you must be taking sales funnel. So tell us, what is a funnel and why do we care?
So sales funnel is basically, it is a process. It is a way to take people who don't know who you are or what solution you have to your problem and drill down through those people all the way to the people who will actually give you money. And that sales funnel process also can usually have a follow-up process that's kind of tacked on to the end of that, to ensure that your business always has clients coming in. And you know what? I love Brett. I love his company. I love what they do. But I also don't want to pay for all those things, which is why I think you should have a sales funnel before you have a sales force. And secondly, your sales force has a hard time drumming up business, but a sales funnel can fill the funnel and fill the pipeline so that your sales force has something to do.
Well over 50% of our business, of our income, if you will, comes from the trusted advisor, the center of influence, the business leader, entrepreneurs, and those that work for all the before mentioned. And we seek out building relationships. Without the relationship, we're struggling to cold call, just get out there, like, telemarketing, buying sales leads, all those things. And we do it in the P.E.O industry. But we are relationship builders, because remember this, everybody, we are an intangible product. You do not need a P.E.O to survive. You've got Aunt Betty, you got your wife, you got your father's insurance agent he knew for 20 years before you got the business. Or you could go to your CPA, your insurance agent, you can go to your accountant or whoever, and they can perform all the things that go hire an HR director. You can perform all the things that we do in our business. But the difference is with a P.E.O versus having standard market relationships is that we are risk assumers, and we're able to take those hits for you, and that's all we do.
It was a combination of, of doing outreach and also having great content so people could reach out to you. So I think, though, in the end, on that episode, Holly won, because the start of the sales funnel was building relationships. And that was actually the wording she used. She said, this is how you get people into your sales funnel. And the sales funnel then is to get them some kind of valuable information that they can use, as well as you can have different things for different industries. It could be blogs, white papers, articles, it could be surveys, it could be how-to articles. There's all this kind of information that you can build around it, right? So a good idea would be, hey, you're talking to somebody in your outreach or in your content to see if liability is an issue for them. Maybe workman's comp is a huge liability issue. If they're like a construction company or something like that, right, where people get hurt all the time. Maybe it's just a compliance issue. Companies trying to scale, they don't have time to figure out all the HR stuff, right? So you could write content in your sales funnel about that. And then you could say, hey, download our HR guide. This will tell you all the things that you need to get started with doing HR on your own, or you could have us do it for you, right? And then you would be sign up for our program. And then, and so the sales funnel would go through all the steps to get people at the top end interested who have some kind of intent, right? They have a need for what you have. You get them into the sales funnel, you get them the information, you start building trust, you get them to know your brand and your name and your solution, and then you can close the deal without having to have a salesperson in there. I mean, if you're doing outreach, maybe you need a salesperson for that kind of initial outreach piece if you're doing that, but some of that can also be automated as well. And so there's multiple ways to do it with the sales funnel, but my favorite way to do it is to have content that people are already looking for, that they already have a need for. And when they download that information from you, those are already your perfect clients. You already know it because they're looking for that information. That starts the sales funnel process. that gets them through the steps that they need to become your customer. And then you can use things like email drip campaigns and newsletters and social media and stuff like that to, keep them coming back for more, and also to generate referrals and things like that after the fact.
All right, so you're using this content to help position you as your organization as a trusted advisor, and there's some sort of pre-qualification that helps move prospects along so that they're maybe more qualified when they actually get to the sales step. So, Holly, I know you're eager on this one as well. So let's talk about trusted advisor and relationships.
Yeah, well, a few things I want to circle back on before I jump into that is the first thing about deciding if you're going to scale with a sales force versus a sales funnel is depending on your industry and depending on what you are selling. So if you're in a really competitive industry, let me just tell you, people think sales funnels are magic. They are not magic. It's a lot of work. It's really difficult at times, depending on the industry you're in, especially if it's competitive, to actually nail that in and dial it in so you're actually getting leads that are converting. The second thing is the price of your product. If the price is really high, it's not likely to convert online through a magical sales funnel. You'll actually need a team that's going to help sell that and wrap that in, which is speaking to credibility, speaking to building relationships. The third piece is if it's a service or a consulting thing, clearly you need to scale your team before you scale your sales funnel. Otherwise, how are you going to deliver on the work? And it's interesting, a lot of people will put a magical sales funnel out there and they think they're ready to scale, and they'll have the wonderful problem, but still a problem nonetheless, of too many people that are interested in buying the product and they're not ready. So the reason I'm saying Salesforce is important is if we go back to trusted advisor and partnership and all those things, there's so many non-traditional ways you can grow your sales force. And that's what Brett and the P.E.O industry and a lot of people that are business owners are doing. They have what we call referral partnerships, and they have contract agreements where they actually pay for referrals. They have agreements for affiliate marketing, right? So you can have a lot of ways to scale in a non-traditional Salesforce method with lower risk to your company and scale so much faster while building trusted relationships. And if you're smart about it and you choose companies with that are aligned in the brand and aligned in building relationships, then you win all around. So those are my points for now.
Yeah, so I see this. So those partnerships that Brent and Key HR has built, those help aid and become those trusted advisors, and they strengthen those relationships. So
We are here in Florida, and we call it swimming with the sharks. There are P.E.Os everywhere in this, what I call ground zero, which is basically Southwest Florida, which is where we're located. I'm going to tell you, the one who gets the business in my industry is the one who has the relationship. The one who doesn't have the relationship doesn't get the business. And Holly pointed out another outstanding point that I interrupted her on. Sorry about that. In my enthusiasm here. And that is what we call channel partners. There are P.E.Os out here nowadays, Matt, that don't have a sales force. They matter of fact, they outsource. They call it using channel partners or brokers, if you will. And what's a channel partner or a broker? Well, our prototype would be an insurance agent. We would love to be able to have a P.E.O desk in our dreams. To have a P.E.O desk in every single insurance agency in the state of Florida, you'd like to have a P.E.O desk there, because people are that business owner is getting a phone call from guys like me or other people, that are out there saying, "Hey, who's handling your workers' comp and payroll and HR outsourcing? Who does that?" "Oh, well, we go through so-and-so." And it's either an insurance agent, it's either a CPA, or it's a Holly Jean Jackson, or it's somebody who sent that business owner to the P.E.O. And the person who sits on the front line is usually, and we use trusted advisors, usually the CPA, the accountant, the insurance agent, be it their health insurance person or their workers' comp guy, because they were looking at all the other things that we do. So it's all goes back to that relationship. And
A B2B, how would we set up a sales force, expand that? And then also the B2B sales funnel. So Holly, let's go with you.
Yeah, so in terms of setting up your sales force, the first thing I always tell people, especially if they're solopreneurs and they're looking to scale for that first employee, you really want to make sure you have your process dialed in, your values as a business, exactly who you're serving, your marketing is super clear, you already know who your ideal client is, because there's no point in hiring somebody else until you're ready. The next thing is make sure you have your onboarding process dialed in. There's nothing worse than starting to pay an employee that's going to be on the books with you and you're not ready for them. So you need to make sure you're in a space where you can still serve your clients while also onboarding that staff member. So making sure you have that dialed in is essential. Also, making sure you're working with somebody that's an expert on hiring to make sure you're following the legalities for your state, because, you know, when I lived in California, the regulations for hiring there are very different than North Carolina, for example.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure you know the legalities so that you're not going to be sued for something, you're not going out of bounds for staffing. And then we also talked about non-traditional ways of hiring. You can start with 1099 contract employees, which is lower risk. Again, following your state regulations. Some places you can't do that for certain services. And then also finding affiliate networking partners, also finding people that are referral partners, and figuring out what looks best for your company and your industry is going to be important. But one thing I just want to remind people of is people that are brand new in business that haven't made it yet, they're not big yet, they seem to think that affiliate marketing is going to be the thing that gets them there. And I'm just here to tell you, don't waste your time. That's not how it works. You have to become big and well known before you use affiliate marketing. So you need to get on the call and make sales, use that CRM and start building out your business before you start hiring your sales force. So those are my keynotes on what you need to do in terms of hiring your sales force and how you would scale that way.
Excellent. Matt, what do you think? What are the components and what's the strategy that we would need to implement for a B2B sales funnel?
Having partners is not hiring a sales force, right? If I go to a business group, a business networking group, like a BNI or a chamber or something like that, those people that I meet there that are referring people to me, if I was a salesperson, I mean, sure, that would work great. And you could hire salespeople to do those things. But that's not really having a sales force. And the nice part about a sales funnel is that it is electronic. So you could turn it off and there's no cost involved to turning it off or turning it back on. Whereas when you bring on a bunch of employees for your sales, to have a sales team in-house, now you've got a problem, right? If it's a contractor, you know, you may have some kind of contract with them for the length of time that they're on. If you can't handle the amount of business that comes in, you can't just immediately fire all your sales staff and then hire them back next week, right? But with a sales funnel, you can turn it off, right? So that's one of the advantages of a sales funnel. But let's talk about a really simple sales funnel. So one piece of content, like how do you avoid litigation and risk when you have a construction business? This could be a perfect article, right? That would be a lead in for something like Brett's business. So you have that article, someone goes to it, they have a landing page that's just a page on a website that says, how can you avoid risk in your construction business when it comes to staff, HR, and workers' comp? And then it says, download this guide to tell you all the ways that you can pass off risk or avoid risk in your company legally in your state, right? And so they type in their email, they download this guide, they read it, and then because you have their email address, you have an automated system that gives them other pointers and other things. Did you know that you can have other type of staff that you can outsource? Did you know that outsourcing makes sure that you're compliant with payroll changes? Did you know that we know for each region, you know, things like in Portland, Oregon, there's a TriMet tax that's only for that region. So we can make sure that things like that get covered. So you can send those kind of things out by email. And then you have contact information in those emails so that they can call up your company and sign up for your service. And in some cases, that sign up process may even be completely automated, where they go to your website, they type in their information about their company, they stick in their credit card, they pay the bill, and now they're your customer, and not a single real person has talked to them. So I think that because you have the ability to do that without going through a hiring process, having the overhead of staff and that kind of thing, I'm not saying you shouldn't have salespeople. I'm saying you should have a sales funnel first.
And first of all, I really want to thank Brett for joining us today, for being our guest, for providing great insights into a very important aspect of business, and that is outsourcing those things to professionals that don't make you money, but can cause huge headaches and financial consequences if done wrong. So, Brett, thank you for broadcasting today from the Florida Association.
Thank you,
of
Matt. Thank you, Holly.
Insurance Agents.
Especially Holly.
Thanks, Brett.
Yes, guys. I really, I
let's have
tell
your
you
final
guys.
summary here.
Well, thank you for having me here. I can't tell you how cool this is going to be, and what's really going to be interesting is to see the blowback from all this. This is what I'm really excited to see. And one thing we haven't talked about that we do here with pros like Holly and Matt is, our industry pays heavy duty residual income commissions on a monthly basis. There are no classes. There's no tapes, bottles of water, creams, CDs, meetings you go to. It's like I got Matt sitting up there. It's a lifetime of experience and accomplishments, and it's time for him to get paid for it. And I'm just a guy to do it. And Holly Jean Jackson for having me in here like this. I'm telling you, I cannot wait to see what happens and the blowback on this bad boy. Y'all, thank you so much for letting me be here. And if any of y'all are ever in Sarasota, Florida, or in Orlando, give me a call. There'll be a nice cold beverage with your name on it. Thank you for having me.
Sounds good.
Life is
Thank
good,
you.
Brett. Life is good. Matt, let's have you go ahead and give us your closing statement.
Sure. So I would say that a sales force is fantastic. Hiring real people is great. It's nice to have someone out there to build those relationships. But I think in a digital world, in a world where everything is going online, if it hasn't already gone online for most of the world, you need to have a sales funnel to start the process. And the sales funnel is what builds and fills your pipeline. And once you have a pipeline that the owners or managers of a business can't handle, that's when you can use that data and look at it and say, I can make a financial decision to hire a salesperson because I can see that my pipeline is already full of enough business that it's going to pay their salary and make me money. So I think that you should have both in this case, just like most of the times when we have our
always
throwdown,
with the throwdown, right? It's an and.
There's always an and, right? But however, I think the important thing here is that the sales funnel comes first.
All right. So, Holly, let's get your closing statement here.
Well, like he just said, I really do think you need to have both. Like, as it is, always the answer is both. But I think that investing in your sales force is important. And we talked about their traditional and non-traditional ways. Just like when Matt was saying a simple sales funnel, it sounded a lot more like a lead magnet to me than a real sales funnel. But anyways, that aside, investing in a sales force, whether it's non-traditional ways of partnerships and affiliate marketing, which you are contributing financial assets to that. So that is a form of hiring. And the way you actually do that in your taxes is a form of hiring. Just looks a little bit different. It's non-traditional. But investing in your sales force in those non-traditional ways, whether it's affiliate marketing, referral partnerships, and then starting with that first employee, and then really scaling it beyond there, especially if you're providing service-based or product-based solutions, is so essential to invest in your sales force. But as we always say, the real winner is you, and you need both of these.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Hey, before we render the final decision on today's Business Builder Throwdown between the sales force and the sales funnel, I guarantee the people that are watching this program, either live or in replay, know business owners who would benefit from contacting Brett. And there's a potential to put money in their pocket. And so, Brett, how can people get a hold of you? How can they reach you? What's the best way other than seeking out a cold beverage in Sarasota?
Yes, we like to say the two most important words and the two most famous words in the P.E.O. industry is residual income, and everybody's gotta get it. And if you don't got it, you get it, and if you got it, you need more of it. All my contact information is attached to my profile on LinkedIn. My cell phone number and my email. I am 24/7, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Nova Scotia, North Carolina, Los Angeles, Seattle.
Even out here in
Give
Oregon.
me a call. I know, even in Oregon. Yes, in Oregon. Give me a call. I'm sitting on go.
But I have to make the decision today. Are we going to go with building your sales force or building your sales funnel? And today's winner is... We're going to go with the sales funnel in the Business Builder Program. So in this case, I know that every salesperson that Brent has, or any other B2B company, or many companies out there, will grow their sales, but they need to have those leads. You'll attract the best sales people when you have a good pool of prospects. And so in this case, we're going to go with the sales funnel. But there you go. That is the Business Builders Throwdown for
Brett, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Holly.
All right. Have a great time in Florida.
And come visit, man. And bring that shirt. Wear that shirt when you come down here.
I will. I love this shirt.
All right, guys.
Yeah,
have a good one.
He's a
Bye-bye.
native.